leopard dance. I have no idea what in the world that was, but they did no dance, all right? It was very disappointing. Danny and I were extremely disappointed. So I hope to see some sort of rotating elephant later on today. But as far as the game schedule is concerned, we start things off at Alpine, heading into Dexterra for Game 2. Game 3 and 4 would be at Kalahari as well as Solara. And of course, that's going to be the most exciting one on Game 4, as it's the brand new map, which kind of throws things into disarray. But Game 5 and 6, we go old school back, Purgatory as well as Bermuda to close the day off.
It almost seems like they've kind of inversed the order of which we were hoping, or what most people are going to be used to seeing. We change up the maps every single day. Just got to keep everybody on their toes. Again, momentum is a very big thing in Free Fire. This way teams are really going to have to work to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, and this is the beauty, right? We don't have the randomizer to kind of bring a map in for a repeat on the exact same day. What we do have is a rotation of maps which you will not be able to guess. And of course, some teams are better on certain maps, and you might just be that lucky squad that loves Alpine. Perhaps you are Buriram. Perhaps you are a team that knows how to dominate and find their way into the deep circle on Alpine very easily. If that is so, you're going to start the day off fantastically here. And it looks like the fight path is going to be pretty kind to them as well.
Pretty generous flight path overall, but once we're on Alpine, you know somebody is going to get hot dropped. Snowfall is going to be open this time around with Buriram, as well as Team Flash looking to drop down by Snowfall. Garrison's going to be taken by Torak. It looks like they want the third. But on the southern side, we're seeing that EVOS Divine, Team Falcons, Bigatron, ooh, even WAG getting involved there.
Yesterday was a very poor day for GOW, and today they start off on one of their best maps. So fingers crossed this is going to really change the trajectory of the team's performance overall. If GOW have a hot start here, then we can expect to see more from the Vietnamese squad, but it looks like another squad from Vietnam seems to be tortured at this point of time. Death bleeding out right on top. ABCD too far away to have that save. And instead, Team Flash will choose to back away from Buriram.
It looks like they're backing away into the fishing nets of a Torak here. The Zon has to fight back. Wasana, unfortunately, didn't respond in time. As Wangan falls down, Joanna needs to try and find as many eliminations as possible as the crews will finish up the rest of these downs.
Oh, unfortunate. As Flash tries to get away from Buriram, Toda does manage to catch a spot on them. Taking out Wang M is just the very start here. We do see one revival, so Flash, okay, make that 2. So Flash is pretty much going to still be in play, and that pretty much baited out a battle between Buriram and Toda, and that's not good news for the Malaysian squad.
No, it isn't, but they're trying to be efficient as much as possible, but oh man, Joanna, really aware. Also, just isolating his fights extremely well. They went for the 2 and 2 to chase ABCD, and the other 2 to kind of hold back onto Buriram's side, but now we cut back over to BTR, because they're getting involved with the Falcons. I didn't think they would get into this fight as early as now, but one was able to find one into Pina, and this forces the 3v3. There is a revival point. There is a POI that both sides are going to be contesting for.
Oh, Falcons. They want to fight, and Bigatron, who used to be known as the Falcon Hunters, are going to be on the back foot here as Limit finds one. Dororo using the downtime to pull that quick revival in. One bleeding out as the rest of the Bigatron players find a little bit of cover. Very smart play because of that high ground held here by the Falcon players. Taking a open ground battle is just going to be absolutely disastrous. In the meantime, Virtus Pro losing numbers to RRQ.
That's not what you want to see, but we cut back to BTR one more time. Left in there, Rin has to make something happen. If he could get a trade, that'd be great, but unfortunately, the double swing is just too much for him to handle. As we cut back over to Snowfall, Cruz, he's been hovering around here for a little bit, and Torak still pretty scattered, trying to look for initial picks to slow down BRU.
Yeah, once again, this is one of the better maps for Buriram. Moshi in a CQC. Very dangerous. Has the AC-80 and still gets it. My lord, this guy. Vidal's, even with the S590, could not do Moshi in. And Wasana, just on that revive with the P90 of all guns, manages to strike one down, loot him up, and be right back in business. 9 eliminations strong, Buriram, before even the 4th minute. And that is insane. And PLS1, big opportunity dropped here. Missed that headshot. But of course, Wang M is here to back up ABCD. Overall, Flash just hasn't managed to find a break just yet.
Already, with Barros already being the one hunted down here. But overall, doesn't matter. It's just free information for now. WAG needs to deal with the people in front of them. RRQ do fall into the hands of Virtus Pro, but it doesn't really matter. They are very well looted up. Some high-tier weapons on their side. They are on the prowl, but unfortunately, it's going to be Abe who falls down. Dutz is going to back him up, trying to make sure that he doesn't get knocked as well. Diamond! Oh my goodness, top-tier weapons. Who needs it?
Well, Ma'al has 1,200, more than enough to buy back all of his brothers, and just in time as he got that double revive, gets shot down. RRQ on a huge reset, and that was insane because they already took away 2 players from the side of Virtus Pro initially. So that was a phenomenal comeback from the squad.
That is some damage being laid out. And again, we still haven't seen the second ring, and already so much action has kind of ensued for everybody else. Everybody's actively looking for elimination points. They don't want the Pharaoh situation to happen all over again. They need to be able to buff themselves up with points. And as we see the 18 Deers running around trying to look for traps, finally sees him at the very end here. He's got his little mini Uzi trying to make sure that he lands just enough shots, but unfortunately, it isn't enough.
Yeah, Traps had the Oscar. Valiant dashes through those glue walls. And of course, that mini Uzi just could not outdo him. Traps gets 1 easy point off of 18 Deer. RRQ again on the back foot. And this might just be all over for them. AGAL now catching up with RRQ, finding a bay, nailing him instantly. Ma'al on that revive, dropping fairly far away from the rest of the AGAL players. And now is going to be on a mission to at least find a couple of 100 coins to bring back 1 team member first.
He's gonna have to take his time here. He doesn't want to get into another engagement, but it feels like Torak has been causing chaos all over the map after failing the initial ambush in third by Snowfall. They split up into 2. They revived into many different points across the map through Militia, through Carousel, through Railroads, and now every other team who is caught in their tracks happens to attract more attention. And now, BRU, they notice the shots from the back. Esports, they like to play as 4. So let's see how BRU wants to anticipate this, right? Are they going to go head first into it, into 4 members? Is Wasana going to fall into those crosshairs? Or are they going to slowly creep up and hopefully flush them out with some nades first before they do anything?
Yeah, premature ice grenade there because I don't think Buriram knew the position of Esports. A easy headshot could have just been pulled off, but instead they went in there for the tags, anticipating Buriram to hide away inside the container. It kind of backfired now. A little bit of a standoff. They've got a great positioning here. LBT and Nero on the back lines. Nero with the AC-80 LBT with the M590 on standby. FGL just forcing them away. Pushing their rotation. Cruz up against Nolan. M590 in hand. Good pull of the time turner. And Cruz could not sneak in those shots just yet. Wasana appears out of nowhere, gets the headshot, and now in a 2v1, but the 180 is just not on his side. Steffi popped as well, extra layer of armor, and Nolan nails down Wasana. They drop the ball big time here. And now Jonah needs to save the squad somehow.
And this is what I'm talking about. Esports, they play so immaculately as 4. BRU going to disengage from this fight, allowing Esports to go for the chase. Moshi has to buy a little bit of time. Joanna already used the launch pad, and unfortunately Esports aren't going to take that same launch pad to chase. If Moshi is able to find a pick here, it might just slow down the entirety of Esports, allowing their captain to get ahead. And that's exactly what they want. Moshi, he's taking the damage, but he's forcing resources out of Esports. Wait, hold on. It looks like GOW wants to get involved just before we see Moshi hit the ground.
Yeah, beautiful flank by Lao Ho, and of course the AC-80 with that range and damage. More than enough. Just 1 shot to put him down. And Esports earning 4 points. Although the initial mistake with the deep freeze was there, the positioning to play the phenomenal defense against a very aggressive Buriram turned out in their favor. And of course, I was not a big fan of the way Buriram approached that situation at all. Just sending in the crews with the M590 to start off that engagement, just put them on the back foot, unfortunately.
They don't have a lot of information to work with, right? They're trying to look for angles for them. They're not entirely sure what the battle lines look like, but against Esports, you just know that they want to swing you as 4. Exposé does find the initial knock here, and as well as another elimination point off of the Torak members who continue to look to find some kind of way to recover in this game, but they're running out of time. It's already the second zone. The third zone is eventually going to be revealed in just a little bit once this blue closes, but even so, it is not a good look. Todak now back into full fighting force. BRU still haven't recovered yet, but they're walking away with 9 eliminations. And Virtus Pro, surprisingly, also 9 eliminations in the bag.
Uh-oh. Abe in a lot of trouble. Pina is just the wrong player for you to come across. Definitely is running a marksman at least on himself. And Abe is just managing to put a decent amount of distance between himself as well as the Falcon players. And Pina!
Triple kill.
AC80. Didn't need a sniper for that one. Still manages to nail the guy in the back. Traps finds Maal as well. RRQ still being punished. And Wasana, although he had that glue wall up, the Riptide Rhythm just breaking down his defenses. And Buriram continues to struggle.
All teams who are playing for recovery are going to get hunted down now. Everybody else just trying to make sure that they don't go for a full reset this early on, as the revival points are going to be closing real soon. We see that Evos Divine playing on the outer side of the ring. Only 1 elimination here. Looks like they did find tier 3 armor and as well as body armor and as well as helmets. They're trying to rotate from the southern side into Todak. I'm not entirely sure where the other Todak members, but so far we only see 2. They could be playing their 2 and 2 at a different spot.
Wasana again. Oh my lord. Ray just didn't take 2 seconds at all. Spotted the guy, went straight in for the shots, gets the knockdown. And then the rest of the players swooping on in, finding the connections. Aim God is not able to spam no key down. And they take over the airdrop instead. Beautiful defensive play by Evos though. Even on the rotation, they find another.
They're learning from their mistakes. They're like, okay, we started off with a little too hot here. We reset it a little too many times in the previous games and even yesterday. So now let's take it a little slower, right? Because if WAG from yesterday could show us anything, getting consistent placement points could be the difference maker in a lot of these scenarios. The eliminations, we'll worry about that once we get into maybe the 4th or 5th ring.
There were a couple of revives here on Evos. Not too sure why we can't see that on their nameplates, but that's all right. Fingers crossed that's fixed eventually.
Triple kill.
Fidel's still not finding a break, and the rest of the Todak players still have to continue on this revival spree. Surprisingly, even after all of those eliminations, we still have got every single squad alive here.
Nobody has been able to find a full squad wipe. Everybody has been able to actually manages to actually escape. And more so, it feels like a lot of these teams are very hungry for these thirds. Very aggressive start from everybody. Now that we're moving into the 11th minute of the game, going into the 12th. Oh, vehicles, and now getting shot out of the vehicle. PLS1 lands a beautiful headshot on Wasana.
RRQ, close proximity for Dirt. Then Pina turns around with the Bison, and the Oscar saves him for a second, and Karoro appears out of nowhere to save his buddy Pina. That was just way too close, but of course, even if he did get knocked, the guy will still be outnumbered by the rest of the Falcon players. But that was a close call for Pina.
Very close call indeed. Speaking of close calls, BRU, unfortunately, just can't seem to find their footing in these matches so far. They want to control the center. They made a great prediction on where the next ring is going to be. The southern and southeastern sides of this map, heavily populated, but no ring circling above them.
How are they going to get away from this sticky situation? Buriram, they've been forced to revive this way too many times, but in a decent spot within the next circle. He was finding the backs of Bigatron. Bigatron turning the tables though. Russia down on the ground, and Ray just could not keep up his jig. The M590 and the Charge Buster both finding him at the same time. And he was once again faulted.
Yeah, unfortunate indeed. Tight corridor. I mean, there's only one way. Somebody has to be on the outside scouting out. Unfortunately, they didn't notice that BTR quickly took the initiative, but still, BTR on the furthest side on the southern part of this map, and they still have a long way to get into this ring. Speaking of, just because it's tilted off to the compound to the left of Garrison, we'll see where this next ring is potentially going to move. Hopefully out into the open. Abe getting eliminated. BTR trying to jump over everybody else, but unfortunately getting shot out of the sky. BTR bow out in 10th.
Yeah, unfortunate. And of course, Falcons with the initial damage at AGAL, they were just in the better spot to see the flying Bigatron players to snuff them out in the air itself before they landed. But Buriram just has a very interesting defensive spot that they are holding deep in the middle of the circle. And they're on the pro right now, hoping and praying nobody sees them. But this is just way too many players in such a tight little spot. So much of open ground to work around with. Barely any defensive spots left here.
BRU, I mean, the fact is, it's not up to them, right? They're depending on everybody else to keep them safe. If somebody tries to go for the all-in, they could get punished with so many angles around them. They make amazing prediction on where the next ring is, and Virtus Pro, at the same time, had a rough understanding as well. They've got a beautiful wall to play around, and now they just have to make sure that they pepper everybody else and worry about WAG on their direct right. Narrow is extremely nearby as they look to take the space, hopefully to sneak past WAG, who finally take the shots to try and punish Nameless here, as they're spreading themselves very thin. Esports and as well as GOW start moving around on the outer side of the ring as Falcons push them in as well. Virtus Pro are forced to stand behind their concrete barrier. They cannot get any ground.
And WAG with the knock, and Moshi sneakily stole that point away. And Virtus Pro could not do much. They try to go in there for the rotation, but forced now back. And this is not really a bad position overall for Virtus Pro to hold on to. WAG now receiving a couple of shots from Virtus Pro. They need WAG out of that position so that they can get into a better defensive spot. Falcons, on the other hand, the pickup onto Limit. Nothing much for them to worry about, but here comes AGL, Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses, and Limit follows up with those shots. Barros down, and Team SR can't do anything, being damaged by the blue, and the rest of the shots by the Falcon players. Easy shutdown. Jonah steals away 1 point as well. Buriram's just sneaking away point after point.
They're still trying here because right now VP, GOW, and as well as PE Sports are battling each other on this northern side of the final zone. And GOW, unfortunately, the first to get eliminated, but VP has taken a majority of the damage anyways. It's a 3v2 scenario as Falcons come blowing through the back, breach charging them, forcing PE to utilize their resources. Riptide Rhythm on top of the glue wall melters inside a metallic container. VP get to sneak away for now, but they give nowhere to move. The glue wall melters will eventually reveal their position. Exposy still alive, still trying to keep up, but Limit is the one who takes him out. Hwanam finds WAG's 2K. And at this point, it looks like Flash is the one in a primary position. Nobody's harassing them at all, and they are just beaming down the members. WAG the first to fall.
And Jonah is still fighting eliminations, but now the jig could be up. Pina spotting out Jonah, being forced in by the glue walls, as well as the circle right behind him. Pina is on standby with the Drogon up against the M590. Jonah tagged up by the blue just a tad bit. And of course, Pina with the follow-up on the Drogon gives Falcons yet another point. But surprisingly, PE Sports still standing. Two teams aimed at them with the Riptide Rhythms and still could not find the connections with those shots. And PE somehow avoiding some of these major conflicts.
Oh my goodness, Falcons quickly using the portal go to switch to the opposite side. Unfortunately, VP eventually bowing out as Flash has been holding a very powerful position of their own, punishing every other team. For the lack of context, they haven't really been moving out too much. They've just been harassing everybody else. And Hwangam in a very dangerous position, and Flash need to take the space to make sure that they can back him up as they close off these angles. They want to force Falcons, or at least PE, into the Falcons and then go for the third at the very end. And Limit, he needs a pick here to open up something for this squad, something for Falcons to look for a booyah at the very end, knowing that PE is chasing their tails. They're starting to run out of resources. Glue walls, very limited at this point, as PE Esports now holding a powerful position of their own. Falcons have to be the ones that make something happen, and on fire, Kiroro fine too immediately as the Riptide Rhythm has been thrown. Luckily, with the way that the landscape is shaping out to be, they have a little bit of cover. They just need to keep their heads down, playing on the lull to slowly rotate to the top as Falcons continue to rotate. They're pushing. They just mirrored Team Flash, and now it's a ring around the rosy between all three of these teams.
Yeah, beautiful Riptide Rhythm earlier on, and of course, the action from the rest of the players on the side of Falcons to get those knocks were instantaneous, but the recovery is more impressive. The teams with the instant pickup definitely running the theme, and what a Riptide Rhythm to Falcons, and now PE Sports opening fire as well, helping out Team Flash. Falcons responds with their own Riptide Rhythm to PE, but the time turner is there to save them, and this three-way battle is just way too good.
It's too good, but Limit finds Hwanam's head, domes him, forcing at least for Flash to try and recover. Again, Falcons are the ones who are running out of resources. They managed to loot up all across this final zone. zone, and PE just don't want to participate. Quickly taking the monster truck. Lao Ho's the next to fall. Nolan as well as Nero, they made a mistake. They're forced to actually hide, but they luckily still have the electrotherapy coming in from their Cassie on fire. He's getting picked up and put down again every single time, and even the Riptide Rhythm to stop this rotation, forcing the 2-on-2. Now, split. Falcons have to take 4 members by themselves with their 2, while the back's getting shot by Nolan as well as Nero, and they're working perfectly as Limit fights 1. He can't finish them off, and unfortunately, with Pina, the last one alive, he's already done God's work in finding 1, can't find a second, forcing Flash to stay on top. 2v1 to close out this 3-way battle.
Unbelievable comeback from Team Flash, and this is what I'm talking about. This is how Team Flash started the group stages. But of course, this performance did not last long back then. But today, they don't need to last long. They just need to last the day. And if this is how they're going to start, I am all smiles for this team. A phenomenal game. But of course, Team Falcons had a great number of eliminations compared to Team Flash earlier on already. But the final bout of action was chaotic and beautiful at the same time. PE Sports with a massive mistake, taking the monster truck and circling around the very edge of the blue, got sniped by the player on the side of Falcons, lost 1, and the 2 players getting their health ticked down by the blue. Like you said, instant recovery with the electrotherapy, and then the backstab onto the Falcon players put them on the back foot. Falcons supposed to focus on Team Flash, but Team Flash had the better opportunity there with the
fights, and I think, you know, as like, well, considering we've already seen them play in some Clash squads, you know that they know how to play these 4v4s. But as we start flying in, hopefully you guys get excited as we are here, because we're looking into the future and hoping that Vietnam is going to come up on top to send a representative to an international. It all starts on the second map here in Nextera.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget, it was PE that broke down Buriram in that engagement earlier on. It was Buriram as the aggressors going after PE Sports, but with a very lackadaisical approach to that whole aggression behind that tent, and PE Sports just dismantled them instantaneously, and that started off the downfall on that Alpine map for Buriram. So these Vietnamese squads, I would not mess with them. And it looks like RRQ is not taking that advice. They are going in here for a hot drop, and they find the Punisher onto Nero immediately.
Oh, they might even find a second one here. Unfortunately, 18 Deer, just enough movement, finds the double kill. Really nice hot drop here coming in for the side of RRQ to lead us off into this second match. Now, we look at Flash, just behind them, it's going to be AGAL slowly creeping up behind them. Doesn't look like, yep, again, they dropped in the exact same spots, even throwing out the UAV early on, but I don't know whether their loot is going to be good enough. I don't see body armors on 2 of their members. No helmets as well. In terms of weaponry, not the greatest in the world. And it looks like, ooh, Do is able to actually head up. Oh, it looks like Evos as well as PE Sports are not too far behind on the southern side. AGAL need to make a decision to either disengage or fight, but it's too late as Sypha is already down.
This is a tad bit unfortunate. Now AGAL up against Flash with a little bit of distraction as well from EVOS. So they do manage to find one quick one. But Wang M finds a trade. Barros down on the ground. Dew trying to get away, but 2 PE Sports players right in front of him. This is just a sticky situation AGAL is now stuck in.
At least they were able to revive Sypha, right? He's going to be lingering around. He's going to head towards the southeastern side of the map, hopefully making his way towards Deca Square to see what's going on there, or maybe a couple of houses by the coastline if he keeps on heading south. But now, we go down to Rust Town, the highway already controlled by Limit as per usual, but Demon on the opposite end. Really good shots are being thrown out here by both of our players, just to make sure that they control this vantage point.
Falcons up against GOW. They've got the game of numbers here, at least against Dian. And obviously, Deanne could not survive for long at all in that encounter. Pina, very aggressive, pushing on forth all on his own, but a beautiful fake. Catches Akoy off guard, but did not have his gun out. Bursts forth with the Oscar, doesn't break down any glue walls. Trying to play the fade and switch at the Riptide rhythm of all things to break down his defenses. Pulls out the Steffi on top of everything else for an extra armor, but still gets nailed down. Unfortunate, but great play overall from the squad. WAG up against EVOS. This standoff is going to take a little while longer because it doesn't look like EVOS wants to get aggressive yet.
No, not at all. And WAG have been lingering around, right? It took them a while before they finally managed to regroup and control and lock down Plaza-Rio. But as soon as they did, somebody else shows up. And unfortunately, for Karoro, oh, wait, saved by the bell, by On Fire, initially gets the pickup and turns it around. That's so unlucky.
That was just so smooth. Beautifully done. And RRQ has got a little bit of company as well. Cypher, just not a lot of health on him. Stuck in a battle up against two players. And just bodies hitting the floor all around the map. But the revivals are pretty instantaneous as well.
Nobody's wasting any time. Nobody's wasting any movements. They're trying to make sure that they stay as healthy as possible. These early fights will only happen within the first 2 rings. After that, it's already trying to make sure you don't get picked off. Don't want to have to forcefully go for a reset here. Especially for EVOS, they've already experienced it many times. They're slowly trying to inch away ground from WAG. But that second floor is a little hard to get through. Ray trying to cover his corners here, trying to inflate, trying to figure out whether or not he can flush out some of the members of WAG before peeking his nose in. He knows that one side of the stairs is covered, but he's not entirely sure of the second, even after flushing out the corners.
Rasia, FGL, shot straight through the stairs. Trying to find a tag on a WAG player. Aim God with the aggression. They're going to fight straight up to them. Had the Steffi on the pop as well. But just could not find any follow-up on that. Ray trying to flank around from the outer end. Will be able to find Cyrus. At least a few tags on him. Export could not go in for the save. And nailed down as well by Ray. The headshot on the level 1 MP5. And the counter by Tikui is just solid as well with the M590. And here comes WAG to hunt down the rest of EVOS. Rasia down, but the final second revival on Coach Hill keeps the squad in the game.
Oh man, Rasia was not designed for CQC. I mean, he's got a Charge Buster to be fair, but again, AWR and Charge Buster not exactly known for CQC. More importantly, so he's got to land those shots, but WAG walk away with minimal casualties as AGAL now get involved. They pick up Cyrus almost instantaneously, but the last 2 members are going to have a lot of problems doing as well as Baros. And Cypher as well, trying to take them out, and they've completely flushed them through. So a great third coming in from AGAL.
Yeah, quick fingers by Tikui as well, managing to hit that revival before getting taken down. So WAG still is in the game. I mean, these last second revives coming through from the squads are just so exciting to watch. And still, after all that chaos, we have 12 squads surviving on this map, just like how we started. Of course, a few extra revivals needed to have a full lobby once again. But what a game we have started off with here. Rasia, just on that revive, thanks to Coach Hill, gets taken down yet again. This time Coach Hill will still have an easy play at this revival. Has 800 coins, double revive. Rasia Ray brought right back in. Needs to look for a few more to bring Aim God into this play as well. But there is a player from the side of RRQ looking for that vending machine.
Looking for that vending machine, but you can see the instant turnaround on that second revive player coming in from EVOS. I think he just spotted out some of the RRQ members. If not, he's just trying to land on the roof. Either or, there might be some more fighting in just a little bit. As we see Twin Bridge being taken over by the side of the Falcons, RRQ also a little hurt from their wounds, but well equipped for this upcoming battle. Cochil now having to hold it on his own. The Trogon finds one, almost gets a second, but Maal quickly shuts it down, finds the trade straight off the bat. Oh, sees Ray turning the corner. He's got an AK in hand, but unfortunately can't find any shots as he doesn't have any glue walls to play with to leap over, or another friend to help him leap over this wall.
Yeah, Ray tried hard there. But obviously, he was not going to break down the glue wall or be able to hop on over. Like you say, no shoulder boost coming on through. Ray P90 just on the revive. Doesn't have enough resources to take this 1v2. Maal has enough coins to buy Babe right back in, and RRQ back to a full squad. Cannot say the same for EVOS. They need one more revival, and Ray obviously doesn't need to do much here. He is going to be the sacrificial lamb, and the rest of the EVOS players can circle in looking for the next save zone.
The fight was isolated, but unfortunately Maal made the decision for Ray. And as the blue starts closing in, at least for the side of RRQ, they find eliminations for themselves. They're playing... Wait, hold on. BRU just launched themselves into RRQ. They're probably on the second floor, or if not the roof at this point. They're using the healing... they're using their heals, the UAV healing drone, just to make sure that they can top off healthily as they tank a bit of the blue damage. Not that it matters too much, especially when they have Ford on their side. Wasana drops down into the middle to not only find information, but can he actually make this work? Did they not know that RRQ was lingering around? I'm pretty sure they came here because of that, and they get picked off by Jonah. Good bait by Wasana.
Yeah, fantastically played by Wasana here. Everybody thought that he was all alone. Well, now they know that he's not. Easy revive. He brings Maal right back in. These boys are rich, but he sacrifices himself for that revival. And now RRQ in a tad bit of trouble. Of course, the squad does not get annihilated here thanks to that revival, but two players potentially going to go down here, as Buriram does have that high ground advantage and the grenade launcher of all things.
Oh, but Jonah is able to take him out behind the glue wall himself. Great use of the launchers, but at this point, RRQ have completely collapsed. They've already used a bunch of their resources to find revives of their own because of that initial play coming in from Wasana, baiting himself to allow Jonah to get the shot from the top end. But now that Dutz has already shown himself, I don't think Moshi is just going to let him go for free. He's calling the rest of the squadron to make sure that they cut off his exit points. Dutz, he can either run out into the open here from the side of Grab Labs, or he can just keep on buying time for his squad. He's got a member alive and hopefully heading outside, into the zone, away from the blue, as Dutz finally falls.
Well, Moshi is not going to let that one go easy. Buriram on their recovery game here after dropping the ball at Alpine, and 7 eliminations. A tad bit slower raking in those eliminations in this game, but of course slow just means better for Buriram. Just now the pacing was just way too aggressive, and now Jonah caught outside all alone. Double glue walls expanded and unfortunately Expor is nowhere close to that window to break them down with the Riptide Rhythm, and Jonah gets to survive this one.
He gets the slip away as we see Esports actually launching themselves to the northern side of Plaza Ria. So Jonah's not wasting any time. He saw everything that was happening down by Grav Labs. As soon as it was done, and as soon as it was just Dutz left, he was already making his way over to Plaza Ria. As we see that the next circle is already circling around just the northern side of Deca Square. At this point, Boxygen, Mudside, as well as Deca Square, all these teams are going to be looking to play on the edges of those compounds to hopefully make a call on the right spot.
Buriram circling in from outside. GOW spotted out already. The timing's just off there. Osana with the Trogon, looking for a spot on the GOW player. Throws out the deep freeze first. Circling around towards the left-hand side. Has got backup from the rest of his team members, but gets flanked on. Riptide Rhythm breaking down his defenses, but in a timely manner drops those glue walls, and out of trouble he is. But Bigatron shutting them down from the right-hand side. Buriram somehow surviving.
All the crews, unfortunately, and as well as Wasana getting knocked down here, BTR have done what they wanted to do. They can't afford to take too much damage, as we see the rest of BRU having to fight off so many teams and slowly peeling away as GOW as well, getting involved as they take out 2 of their members. BRU have been pinched, but this means that BTR will be falling into their hands. We do see that VP is actually doing really, really well, finding eliminations on towards their opponents on the opposite end here, but RRQ, they should be able to recover at this stage. It's still very early on, and even On Fire is finding members of RRQ. Moshi finds a headshot onto Akoy at this point from the side of GOW, but BRU are basically out of this fight. WAG, AGAL, Vitality, BTR by Vitality, and even GOW conquering the western side of this zone.
There's still a vending machine here to play right outside of Boxing Gym. And if BRU can get there, bringing back their team members shouldn't be much of an issue. But the problem here is it's being camped upon by 2, not just 1, but 2 teams from Vietnam. And the circle is going to hurt in a little bit. So Moshi and Jonah needs to get a move on. WAG trying to play gatekeepers as well to GOW, but they'll be pressured by the circle. Moshi jump pad as he moves straight on into towards the deeper end of that circle. In the meantime, Virtus Pro finding a couple of players from the side of Falcons, snuffing out their potential for Booyah here.
They're trying to make sure that they're snuffing it out real good. They don't want to put anybody at risk. Falcons now going for the all-in towards Team Flash's side, but it's not over because VP getting involved. They see the golden era. They see their arc. They're looking for opportunities, and now they found it as they've already taken out the members from Falcon's side. BRU get eliminated off screen. Kiroro is nearby trying to pick up Pina, but in the meantime, the Zom, he goes down first. Nameless already finds 3, finds 4 of the members, and he's already taken them all out. Hwangam and as well as the Zom, luckily able to work with each other to get themselves back up, but VP, a devastating blow to not only Flash but also the Falcons as they take a really good spot on the northern side, and that might not be all. All this infighting has now caused BTR to sneak in and take the arsenal on the northernmost side of this next ring.
Very clean play from Virtus Pro, but they'll have to move now as the circle is gonna force them to find a better defensive spot. But the distraction from Falcons, obviously annoying, not allowing them to step out of the defenses just yet. They need someone else to interfere. Kororo finding Exposi Diamond with a trade back onto Pina just to slow down Team Falcons. Nameless really has to find something here, and he does exactly that. Alongside nobody now, solo on the play. Nameless somehow looking for the survival as he flanks around, teasing the blue. Kororo end limit right in front of him, playing his medkits first. That's really smart, at least for the time being. It's all about the timing now as Kororo circles on, outspots him. M590, the connection is there. But Kororo finds the final nail on the coffin for VP.
Falcons, great recovery. Somehow, despite the odds, are getting placement points. And teams, they're getting eliminated fast. That's also WAG, RRQ, the next to fall, as AGAL, EVOS Divine, as well as Torak fighting, and now their backs are being opened up for BTR. At full fighting force, they manage to hold out this entire time at the edge of the arsenal, unpunished and overlooked. Torak on the top side, on the roofs of EVOS Divine. They can't really hop out, but we know for a fact that this next ring is pushing towards the eastern side. They eventually, somebody has to make the first move.
Well, Toda's still alive, and that's definitely a miracle already for the Malaysian squad. They'll have to go through the EVOS players to get deeper into the circle, and finding Rasya is a great way to do that. No more sniper on the side of EVOS. Coach Hill goes down as well. Toda successfully dismantles EVOS.
They take him out. And now we see who can make that rotation first. Torak looks like they're trying to make that first move. BTR has been tailing Falcons, knowing that they are hurt, knowing that they are missing members, want to go for these easy picks in P Esports. Now, because Torak made that first move, means that they must die. And they've already blasted him. Nolan, luckily, he fell down, but they revive him straight away as we see a full squad revival coming in from Limit just at the last second. They have an opportunity, but what are they going to use? They've got no loot. They've got to reset so late into the game. They're just free food, and BTR, they're looking up into the sky, and they've already found on fire as P Esports. They're not even focused on the Falcon members. They'll take whoever they can, but they're slowly encroaching on BTR ground.
Yeah, great spot here by the player on the side of Falcons, looking for the drop right on top, and he just gets to watch all of this breakdown with his bird's eye view, not getting involved in this fight at all. Smart play by Falcons. They're definitely going to rip away some decent placement points here, but how are they going to get eliminations from all the way up there?
Not entirely sure, especially since the circle has been so generous to hover over such a tight area. Unfortunately, PE LBT goes down. Juan as well as Rin have been working together very well to clear out this compound bit by bit, knowing that the rest of the members are just a little lower. They're the only squad who has all of their members still alive, and as you can see, PE and as well as Falcons just don't want to be the first ones to go down.
Oh, beautiful snipe by Koja in a CQC up against Nero, that AWM won it out. And now Bigatron up against Falcons. The Falcons Hunters are right back at it, but this time the Valiant Dash plays against Pina. Rin gets the backstab. with the M590, and Bigatron by Vitality pulls away a much-needed booyah at Nextera.
That's what we were hoping to see from them, and it looks like they've recovered very well even after what happened in map number 1. Successfully, and honestly, the odds were against them a little bit, especially coming from that northern side, but with all the action that's been happening and teams focused on other priorities, BTR were able to slip through to set them up for success.
Yeah, Bigatron only managed to pull away 8 points at Alpine earlier, so this was a big opportunity for them to play this game of recovery. And this should definitely put them in the running now for a little bit of a better position overall. Falcons, on the other hand, 26 massive points on game 1. And of course, they've managed to pick up some solid points here in game 2 as well. They should definitely maintain that number 1 spot, but a high probability Bigatron's going to be right behind them now.
Yep. I mean, this shakes things up at the very least, you know. I thought that maybe my predictions were completely going to be wrong, but at the very least, these teams are putting up one hell of a fight. And it seems like a huge shift from what we saw yesterday, at least.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, you know, when you have a bad day, you're going to look for a good day of recovery the following one. And I think PE Esports is trying to do that. They're just trying to survive a little bit longer in these circles and try to get in as deep as possible before popping off. And I think that's a very good strategy as far as PE Esports is concerned. But Flash, they started off really flashy. Game number 2 didn't fare as well. And this is something that they definitely need to look into, because a very capable squad, something works for them sometimes, and they just need to figure out exactly what that is, because that consistency that they're trying to bring in just doesn't seem to be clicking. Went on to be victorious in that game 1. In game 2, though, you know, they didn't fare as well. So hopefully they can find that recovery, because we're heading into Kalahari this time round, a map where RRQ, Falcons, and Buriram usually do find that final circle very easy.
Yep. It's going to be a hot game here this time round, known to be dominated by the Indonesians usually, but things have been changing up here for the fall season. Let's see, because now the flight path slightly skewed, all right, from the western side to the northern side, closer to Foundation, cutting through the maze and just ever touching just the edge of Council Hall. Stone Ridge is going to be a little difficult to get to, but it looks like for the side of BRU, they're taking the long path to make sure that they get there. GOW not too far behind them.
Not too far at all, and this is going to be a little bit of an issue for GOW overall if they do get their players close enough to Buriram, who are obviously very good when it comes to the early engagements as well as finding eliminations. They don't really need those helmets as well as vests just yet. And early game, you don't have your helmets and vests. These boys are very proficient at finding those headshots, which makes Buriram a great threat early game. RRQ, on the other hand, the early drop very close to AGL at Foundation.
Again, these early fights are extremely important for all these big fish teams. Oh, dudes! He finds one, but instantly gets traded back. Sypha in a really good position. Abe, he's pretty far from all of the action, but he doesn't have line of sight, which is the hard part. BRU, they clean up the members here of GOW and start making their way down. Now, keep in mind that GOW, they landed a command post. They even sent one person a little bit further down to keep tabs on where BRU is going to be. So BRU have two decisions. Either they take the fight all the way to command post, or they go by Stone Ridge, hit that up and try to maybe find some better loot before making their way towards the sub. Either or, there's still going to be plenty of teams in each one of these areas. The least likely would probably be the sub, but it's a toss of the die. Unless they've got some binoculars to work with, there's no way to know.
So let's see if they do go there, because I do agree with you. They do fancy rotating into the sub quite often as their second place to loot up, and usually finding some extra eliminations there. This time Stone Ridge finds the presence of Buriram, and unfortunate for Toda, they've got their players all lined up here. The engagement 2v1. Moshi and the Cruise. What a deadly combo alongside Jonah. They'll be able to shut down player after player. Fires tries to get away with the jump pad, but found by Moshi as well. AC80 for the win, and Toda falters early. They just came across the wrong squad.
Yeah, again, just pushed in here by BRU. What to do, but sees the UAV up in the sky, knows that there's another team probably towards Santa Catarina, but for the most part, let's cut over to Falcons as they look to control the Bay front, but it looks like BTR by Vitality hopping right past them as well. I'm not sure whether or not they're trying to get towards the southern side fast, or whether they're trying to maybe find a spot along the road to maybe turn into Refinery later down the line, but it seems like Falcons let him pass.
Seems like a fight that Falcons just don't want to take as of this point of time. I think they don't have many snipers on their side. Limit doesn't look like he wants to engage too early, letting them go far away first before trying their luck to maybe get a headshot or two. But Bigatron, will not wait too long. LBT didn't think twice, runs him down, and M594 the follow-up as well. One with the Bison. Phenomenally gets a double knockdown out of nowhere, but Rin is not going to get away that easy. Nolan does have that M590, crushes the opportunity for Bigatron, and now forcing Kyung to pick up coins. One revive is all he can afford as of this point of time. That's that insurance policy for him. At least he's got one back.
Yep, and he knows exactly where the rest of the PE Sports members are going to be. Ooh, a shot being taken. That could have been his head. Drops down the glue wall after hearing the shots from GOW. He's got to run, and he's out of there towards the northern side. Hopefully, he doesn't get knocked down while he's on the cables, but at least there's a POI nearby. Finally, another vending machine, a potential revive point as well. Even an Arsenal, I'm assuming that's already been looted, but for the most part, at least weapons for the team when they come back down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, getting the revivals, especially when it's 3 players that needs to be brought back in, dropping by the Arsenal is definitely a good choice. But Koja could not get too far away. AGL finds him on that recovery, and Bigatron now just left with 2 more players. Koda popped on the side of AGL. They know WAG is on the approach, and those boys were standing upright when the Koda was popped, so they have been spotted out already. Tikui on that rotation with the hook gun. Team SR did spot him out. Rotates around. Manages to absorb a couple of hits here. Tikui, very dangerous up close and personal with the M590. But Dew on that backup could just undo Tikui instantaneously here. He is up against all odds at this point.
Yeah, they got to take their time with this right now because there's no rush at this point of time, except for maybe PLS1, because he's got to get out of the line of fire and try to break line of sight. They quickly drop the glue wall. They managed to pull him back up straight away. Good recovery. Oh wait, but now they find 2, and now it's going to be a full collapse coming in for WAG is due. Finds headshot after headshot, and if Explorer can win out his fight, he's got a launcher in hand. That would be amazing, but it's tough. The shots go through, and unfortunately, it's going to be WAG who gets eliminated. What a clean fight from AGAL.
Unfortunate for WAG. They had the opportunity. They had great players on their side. It's just the positioning by AGAL just way too stacked up. They could not spot out where those shots were coming from. A headshot after headshot just put down those players. RRQ, on the other hand, will be at Refinery, anticipating perhaps another engagement, and it is their brothers EVOS right up on top.
Oh, as expected, the Indonesians fighting around Refinery, especially with a ring that's so even, so centralized as well. Good shots coming in from Ray to make sure them all doesn't walk away for a free. It's going to be looking, because again, they've got some good coverage here by Refinery side, and even Virtus Pro chilling on the opposite henge on the southern side, looking for an opportunity. Boon Jae, he's got some angles to work with, and I don't think that EVOS wants to mess with it at this stage, as the northern side cut down to Oldhampton BTR, trying to survive, trying to face off their members of PE. Nero already finding one as Kyung gets the initial trade. Nolan is able to bring Nero back, but BTR now in full control over this northern side.
Oh, this match is just absolute chaos. Jumping from player after player, team after team. Oh, Kyung spots out a decent pointer here. AWM needs to find one solid connection. Nero, very smart. Is dodging left and right as he takes the drop in, avoiding those shots from Kyong. That AWM not able to tag him up just yet, but Koja right behind him on the revive as well. P90. And unfortunate for Nero. The information given away by Koja as he was rushing on in. PE Sports dropping just on the outskirts here as well. Lao with the AWM. A good matchup for Kyong.
At this point, they need to just quickly jump onto Lao Ho's side. They know that somebody's on their flank, and it looks like it's Nolan. Kyong needs to make the decision now. Work together, quickly take out Lao Ho, because he's going to try and stay within the vicinity, and unfortunately can't get out. Unfortunately, Kyong is the one who goes down, getting pincered by the rest of the members, and especially for Goja, not in a position and didn't have the Koda active ability to help him find the extra bit of information he needed.
Yeah, positioning advantage there. They had the pincer. There was just no way he could run at either one of those players, because the other one would just step on out of their defense and shoot him down. In that case, Nolan just found him with that high ground AC-80 vantage point. And Bigatron by Vitality is in a little bit more trouble here. The fight up against PE Sports. Another contender enters the ring. This time it's Falcons. Finding Lao Ho as he tries to run away Koja. As they look for the elimination onto Lao Ho, they should find him eventually.
I mean, if he gets away with this, then I'd be very surprised, because Koja could have stolen away the elimination. They're launching away. No, Limit's turning around. Koja gets a free 1v1 here. He gets a free 1v1. Riptide Rhythm both already being used. Koja, he's only got a P90, but he gets shot in the head by a Limit. Really taking his time with his Limit, not pressured whatsoever. That could have been a terrible scenario for Falcons. Unfortunate for BTR.
Yeah, he had the backup from the rest of his team members across the lake as well, so nothing much for him to worry about in the grand scheme of things. But of course, you never know what could have happened in the 1v1. I don't think Limit was expecting that. Now as Pina tries to back away, shot from the PE Sports player right behind him, Nero. Mag 7 in the hand. He needs to wait for Pina to get close enough. But the problem is Pina really carries that M590 on fire though. Beautiful play with the time turner. Timing played perfectly for him to get that extra elimination.
Very good responses here. We're seeing a lot of teams now making sure that they have 2 active skill cards ready to go. One for a one-time use, the other just a natural ability. Just any little advantage they can get in the middle of these gunfights could be the make it or break it. But oh my goodness! Blown from the sky, headshot as well. A little unfortunate, but hey, at least it's full control from RRQ onto Refinery.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the next circle is going to be crucial here. And it moves down straight over Refinery. So RRQ doesn't need to rotate all the too much. They still do get to hold on to the very edge of their platform. And that vantage point should serve them well in the next few engagements. Problem is, I'm sure there are a few other teams that are going to be looking for that vantage point as well as PE Sports. It's a double revival. The team is still pretty much in it.
I'm pretty sure the Falcons are going to be able to spot them out in just a little bit. They can go for the hunt if they wanted to. Oh, very dangerous spot. They want. Oh, interesting spot coming in from the Falcons. Okay, so technically they can walk back in. The only teams they have to worry about is Flash. AGAL could be coming in from the top, but let's see whether he finds the pick. If this pick goes through, this might cause a chain reaction.
Oh my goodness. AC-80 in hand on fire. Could not nail him down. Didn't wait for the timing and the backup from Kororo. That could have just been an easy point on their side. But that does force the panic. And Team Flash scrambles. Using the portal go, they do very quickly rotate around, cutting the distance down between themselves as well as Team Flash. And now this gives them an extra opportunity to pick up 4 points.
This is a really good decision coming in from Falcons, right? They have one member back by the ridges, trying to make sure if AG goes in, but now the full fight does occur. Death is already down, is on fire as Pina is doing God's work, and Pina's still alive with the Valiant Dash as long, alongside the Rebel Rush as well, launching in, damaging 3. It's all good, but they can't seem to find the knockdown in this 3v3. The initial engagement was already good, but Kororo now getting flanked by ABCD, hopping over to the other side, loses his glue wall as Pina, now next in turn, they've isolated the Zom, they've taken out ABCD, and now Hongam, all left with 3 members, is all Falcons needed. This Suicide Squad comes up successful as they control a powerful point on the on the western side of the map, and the ring is above them. What else could go their way?
Yeah, ABCD just tried to Spider-Man his way out of there and just hit the roof, unfortunately. The idea was good. The execution was definitely questionable. Wang M spotted out. Oh, Limit had the Riptide Rhythm in his pocket though. Pulls it out. And looks for the knock. On fire with the follow-up. Puts Team Flash out in 10th spot. And it's unfortunate. They had a brilliant start at Alpine. Just could not keep up the momentum.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't, especially in these type corners. And so far, Falcons in a phenomenal position right now. But the competitors, BRU, also at 8 eliminations. They're going to be on the completely separate side, but... Oh, wait, hold on. They're all on the northern side. All the top-tier teams are on the northern side. As Esports, Nolan takes the brunt of the damage. AGAL is putting the punishment on anybody who's trying to rotate to this side. The tent already controlled by RRQ, but everybody is stuck in one place as BRU on the southern side could be looking for an opportunity in, for the most part, untouched.
How does Bigatron now find a way out of this? They've been scanned out by Falcons and their Dinoculars. Falcons know exactly where they are. That Coda was used a little bit earlier on, so Kororo just needs to wait a little bit more before that gets refreshed. And these Bigatron players are not even crouching, so spotting them out should be a no-brainer here. And Falcons just waiting for Kororo. The moment that Coda comes online, but it's the Coda on the side of Bigatron that gets popped first, and now Falcons on the defense. Riptide Rhythm breaking down all of their glue walls. Kyung stepping on out a little bit too quick, and Pina with the advantage taken. M590 survival play. Rin goes towards the back lines looking for Limit, gets his glue walls broken down, and Limit punishes him as well for stepping up close to him.
Another clean fight coming in from the Falcons side as BTR already goes down, but BRU decided not to go for thirding. Instead, they go straight for the center of the map, trying to control the highest vantage point that they possibly can, especially under the pressure of AGL, who has the exact same idea. Cruz is already down as Wasana is trying to take on 3 members by himself. The Riptide Rhythm is good, but unfortunately, Team SR is already putting bullets in his back. Jonah is the only one who can maybe try and turn this around, but AGAL have conquered this half of the map, and more importantly, the most powerful vantage point in this last zone.
Yeah, AGL literally just kicked Jonah and his squad off of that platform, literally shutting down the rest of his players, keeping just the captain alive, who managed to grapple hook his way out of danger, and now just hiding behind a couple of glue walls, trying to play some placement points. There's 7 more teams alive. Koja being hunted down by Falcons, and it's just a matter of time before Jonah is found as well.
Yep, and Pina, again, one person after the other. BTR get a free placement point, surviving that. BRU bow out at 7. The Falcons are so ahead of the game right now. BTR the next to fall, 2 free placement points just like that. And they just want to control the bottom side. VP, the next to fall, as they're trying to rotate and contest for that top side as well. Esports need to go at this point. Last member down. Now we're down to the top 3. AGL on the roof. RRQ on the bottom with 18 Deer, the last to eventually fall to the Falcons. And AGAL will not wait. They instantly go down to the bottom side, looking for picks on towards the Falcon members. Doesn't find any. Unfortunately, just the RRQ member, and chunking Pina to half-life. Limit, his position is a little compromised here in the middle of the fight, trying to swap sides with Kiroran as well as Pina is on fire, holds Sypha. No flank angles for the side of AGAL, but it looks like Falcons want to push them into the middle as they work with their Suicide Squad of 3, pushing their backs. Limit now goes for the peak, hits Team SR, and on fire, and as well as Sypha trying to battle it out. Sypha needs to make a decision on which side he's going for as Team SR goes down. Kuro finds him. Adu finds a headshot on towards Pina, and at this point, with the time turner as well, Riptide Rhythm, Sypha just quickly sieving in these shots. It looks like AGAL are the ones who are taking more casualties as Dude doesn't have an angle anymore, and it looks like Falcons quickly swoop to take the booyah.
Oh, the consistency with their aggression is just mind-blowing. Falcons are just way too good at this point of time. I mean, it was not one fight, but multiple times up against WAG, Bigatron, even AGL in that very final battle. We saw a very clean attack coming on through, especially led by Pina and his Oscar. That valiant dash, breaking down all of those defenses. Those glue walls went down like paper walls in front of this guy, and that shock factor led them to getting a couple of knocks And even though Pina got taken down twice there, the instant pickup coming through from the rest of his team members, and then later on they thought, okay, you know what, Pina, you just hang back. We've got the numbers thinned down already. We'll be able to get this job done on our own. Falcons, brilliant mastermind tactics executed perfectly.
Yeah, a really nasty squad. They're very creative with the way that they play their 4-on-4s, and it just works out for them, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're so good at clash squatting already, especially.
Breaking in massive eliminations, right? They did the same yesterday, but they could not get those placement points. Today, they're just getting the job done with those circle reads, and they are turning out to be pretty difficult to manage in these gunfights as well. But of course, this is game number 4 time as we head on into the latest addition into Free Fire, Solara.
It's time to strike and rise for all of our teams. If they want to get points, it's now. We get a even distribution on the flight path. It's going to cut right down the center. Everything is accessible to all the other teams, but let's see how how the early game is going to be played, because we've seen in the past 3 maps so much activity, and by Delta Isles, GOW and as well as RRQ will be facing each other off. Falcons as well as Flash currently nowhere close to anybody. Flash a little bit closer to the Delta Isles for this combat, but let's see how it's going to be playing out, because immediately Time Turner has been dropped down. Deanne, unlucky, wasn't able to pick up a gun in a time, and now they've got GOW completely surrounded by the compound. Demon finds one into trading Akhoy as well, but it's a little too late as 18 Gears here to back them up. A 1-for-2 trade, not ideal for GOW, and that should be a collapse as Akhoy, the last to fall.
Oh, looks like he had enough coins to buy back at least one player, because GOW is still in the game. So good enough survival instincts from Akhoy. And goodness knows how he got the extra 200 coins. Might have been a coin machine there that he hid in all of that chaos. So good thinking on his feet, even though the team was pressured tremendously by RRQ early on. Thought out though, we'll have Noki in an unfortunate spot in a 1v2 barrel with the 180 damages with the Mac 10, and Cypher with a Bison follow-up makes that work too easy. Team SR, on the other hand, is not as blessed with the gun early on with a mini Uzi in hand. Not really in meta right now.
I mean, it's still early days in this game. I don't like it when Dodak does this, right? They always have Noki in a position where it's like, yeah, you can hold this person hostage, but if you're not taking ground upon that hostage, you're really just putting Noki in a worse position than they started with. But their decision was, hey, we're going to have a Noki hold in position. We're going to try and stall them for as long as possible. It already looked like they predetermined that they were going to try and walk away from this fight anyways. Trap now 1v3, already forcing out a Time Turner, quickly using his own dash, but unfortunately the Rebel Rush is not going to be enough unless he finds that pick, and Traps goes down. Faiz gets him back on his feet.
Yeah, instant revive coming through there, but very good response from Team SR. A timely Time Turner pulled out. He could have gotten knocked down in that situation. Just bought enough time for the rest of the team members of AJL to flood in to the Time Turner and of course play the game of numbers against Traps. Virtus Pro on the other hand, Nameless, great Riptide Rhythm to break down their defenses. Rasya, what a follow-up, but the rest of his team members nowhere close to find the Punisher. Ray, out of nowhere, literally rushes into a whole squad of Virtus Pro asking for trouble. And he will pay the price for that very aggressive push. But my, oh my, Coach Hill gets the job done with the MP40 of all guns.
They couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out where they were getting shot from. And Russia had an amazing position, and VP did not want to rotate off of it, did not want to break line of sight. So far, we see that Kororo all by himself having to fight off the Zom, who's already chunked down to a quarter of his life. ABCD is too far away to actually help, but this allows Pina to quickly start taking ground against him. They're not going to let Team Flash walk away for free. They don't want to sneak. They don't want them to sneak a booyah away from them again. Especially since Vietnam has been adamant on playing in a very similar manner. Pina finally lands a shot at the end, and ABCD loses the 1v1.
Oh, Pina, it would have been embarrassing if he had lost that fight. Great movements from ABCD, but Pina just a tad bit better on those jumps there to avoid those shots. M590 finally getting that connection, and Team Flash now sent scrambling. But Limit spotted Wang M as he tried to get out of Windmill. And that basically is going to put him on the pause. He can't run away too far now. Oh, managed to get into a vehicle. Tina, no sniper, no problem. Woodpecker does manage to find the connection. And Flash down by another man.
Flash is going to have to recuperate their resources here. As we look at WAG, by Funfair, chasing off one of the members of GOW. Not sure if they're aware of each other, but based on the movements we can see on the minimap, it feels like they had a good idea of where each other are. The GOW members, let's see, looks like all of their members are still alive, covering a very large basis out in the open field. Maybe WAG doesn't know where the other members are. They're aware of Dian, clearly, but now we look at RRQ finding AL mid-rotation, quickly taking on the opposite side of the hill to break line of sight, forcing dudes to drop down. And now, RRQ, how do they approach this? They see Barros walking away. They know that Sypha is by the rock. He jumps away, and now he has clear line of sight, takes him out mid-air.
Yeah, you can't get away from Ma'al in the distance like that. Had the marksman on him and goes for the Punisher. Wanted to go for the loot as well, but thought twice. Good thinking as he backed away from that loot box. The rest of the players, though, on the side of AGL, looking for recovery. And of course, the circle's not going to hurt too much now. They can definitely tank the blue. WAG up against GOW in the meantime. This might just turn out to be disastrous as Buriram rotates towards them.
Yeah, but we cut over to PE Sports versus Evos Divine. We've seen that PE Sports have beaten out Evos Divine in the 4v4s before, but now with a Valiant Dash, and especially with an AIDS as well, Kochio finds one, as Ray finds another. Nolan takes the trade, but it's too late. It's already over. PE Sports, too many members knocked. Laoho on the run, and he's already down. That's PE Sports in 11th. Evos Divine win out the early.
Well, we're talking about how EVOS desperately needs some solid points to make their way back in here, and that it's a definite possibility because we've got 3 more games to go, and they're doing exactly that. And the last time we spotted out Buriram, they were on rotation to find the 2 Vietnamese squads. They did exactly that. Managed to pull a couple of points away, but this time sacrificing crews as well. He turned his back on the WAG players and was punished accordingly. Jonah with the AC-80 gets a couple of tags. Wasana trying to get the finisher in with the Trogon of all guns. Is unable to find those perfect connections just yet. And he is met by the player right outside in a 2v1 though. Still gets Fanmo low enough. Needed one more bullet to get the job done. Doesn't get the final hit in just yet. Shuts down Tikui though. That's a big one.
Alright, Wasana still knows how to utilize his Trogon, but luckily was able to buy just enough time for the rest of his members to actually get involved in the battle. However, Moshi, he's already low. 2 of them already dead to right. Wasana now taking the damage here, and unfortunately he goes down, and Moshi brings back Jonan as well as the crews. While this is happening though, there are a couple of off-screen eliminations. Archway is now in a lot of trouble because Moshi knows that his position has been revealed, and WAG on the chase to double-check that vending machine being the only location to find revives at this point in time.
Wasana just making one tiny bit of mistake, letting one will go as he tried to circle away, playing that recovery, and of course one will taking advantage of that situation, managed to find his revenge after all. And Buriram now on the back foot. Early revivals have not fared them well so far, so we'll catch up with them in a little bit to see how they recover from this one. Evos, on the other hand, will come across Toda, and this is just not a good fight for Toda. And Ray just on the spot, instantaneously shut down. Try to use the portal go to get to the top of the roof, and now it's going to be EVOS that uses it instead. Rasia is already getting the damage done in. Vidal's aim got inside of their time turner. Blocked out though. Noki won't be able to reverse things out with the Trogon. And now using their own time turner against them, EVOS does have the numbers advantage. Looking for Noki, and he finds him, but not without the help of Rasia, who did not get involved in that CQC, but instead chose to stay far, far away, punishing the Toda players.
Russia, with that single headshot, turned that all around. AimGod, full belief, was already channeling up on that portal go before the headshot even came through. And now Traps all by himself. Eco Drain dominated and conquered by EVOS Divine. That it's really unfortunate for Todak especially, but now, wait, hold on. Flash as well as BRU. The fight isn't over between the two. Mochi finds the headshot, but the Zom takes out the Cruise. And at this point, with 4 eliminations in the bag and the blue already encircling them, Mochi is going to have to do his absolute best to find another pick off as the Riptide Rhythm comes through. Doesn't find that pick, baits so that Jonah gets the shots on towards the Zom's side. ABCD isolates the fight. Zom's still alive with just a sliver of health as they take out Mochi. ABCD now in that 1v1. Zom is going to back him up, and ABCD is more than enough as BRU bounce out at 10th.
Yeah, this is definitely painful if you're a Buriram fan, but it is what it is. There's no way they're gonna qualify today, especially if they play like that. Obviously, Get High taking a break today, allowing the Cruise to get the job done. Perhaps in the Lidoma series, the Cruise has managed to play Predator a little bit more proficiently than he has in the Southeast Asian lobby. They are just getting dunked upon game after game. But Russia looking for the headshot, assisted by Aim God from afar. AWM able to get the player down. Riptide Rhythm now breaking down the defenses, throwing in those grenades as well to stop that pickup coming on through. Kochil, can he get it? Swan doesn't. But the connection was there. Takes down their health either way, and that brings them up to a decent enough CQC.
Now they're going to keep on trying to play backwards. Reagan as well as Angod unfortunately get left behind here as they go for the initial flank. Oh, Russia headshots Juan just to try and even up the tides. Currently, it's a 2v2 scenario here, but unfortunately... Oh, the revives! They managed to get through! No, the re-knock on top of it! These FDLs are doing God's work so far as Russia bails out of there! Luckily, he's got the passes to have his glue walls up in time as he bails through, and now will fall into the hands of GOW on his left. Wait. Did they notice him? I'm pretty sure they saw him for sure, right? Unless they're looking for more eliminations across the map. And now we go to the next fight between Falcons as well as RRQ. But wait, Limit's taking out Du from halfway across the map. But also next to Falls, Kuro has already dominated his side. 18 Deer gets locked out as EVOS Divine ends up getting eliminated at the very end of the day. And Limit finds another headshot onto Abe. Headshot after headshot. This fight is over. RRQ bow out at 8th.
Yeah, wrong team to come across. This happened to Buriram yesterday up against Falcons on their recovery game, and now RRQ faces the same fate. Falcons are on fire. They definitely want to qualify today. They got close enough yesterday, but got outdone by Pharaoh of all squads, and they do not want to let go of their opportunity this time around. He was Divine as well. There was a miraculous survival by Russia, but unfortunately just could not hold on long enough. Riptide Rhythm now breaking down the defenses of WAG. Question is, who is shooting them from the opposite side? Bigatron's not the one getting the damage done. It is Team Flash of all squads. Riptide Rhythm now towards the top as well. WAG just can't seem to find a break.
And the worst part is that they're on the outside. They don't have natural cover to work with. Yes, their backs are clear, but at this point, all they have is just hitting the deck and praying that BTR don't go for the double swing because they are wide out in the open, feet pointing in their direction as well. As we see that WAG's PLS1 at the roof has been given covering fire from every team that has been taking a pot shot at his two boys who's hit the deck.
PLS1 needs to pull off some sort of a miracle play from up top. He's the only one that can save X-Boy and his buddy, but a huge boulder right in front of Team Flash will keep them defended for quite a while here. Vanwo and X-Boy can't do much the moment they step on out. It's instant death for them, delivered by Team Flash for sure. So they gotta hunker down. GOW and Falcons on the other hand, this is going to be quite a stalemate. 20 seconds for them to get this fight sorted out, though.
Well, let's see how they're going to sort it out, right? Because again, with 12 seconds left on the clock, they have to make a decision. GOW will have to face off against Falcons, whether they like it or not. If they make the first move, they're going to get shot in the back. And I don't think there's an open... actually, there could be an open compound for them to play in, but I don't think it's in the zone. So it might not be ideal... unless we're able to zoom in on that minimap a little bit more. And even AGAL on that northern side to make it really tight for the Falcons to make the TP in. It looks like the portal going right into the ring here, playing behind bits of lumber to watch their backs. They're going to do it early on so that they are the initial gatekeepers, but they got to be worried about AGAL on the off angle.
Yeah, very well played here by Falcons. That rotation was just a thing of beauty. Looking for yet another booyah. Grenade cooked up perfectly. GOW gonna soak in the damage. Timing's just a tad bit off, but those ice grenades now. The deep freeze ticking away at the GOW players. Beautiful Valiant dash. Rip just ripping down those glue walls, and GOW of all teams taking the fight up to Falcons.
Oh no, a mistake almost immediately after Rip. He opens it up, and now the next person comes in with their own Valiant dash, and now Hellblade breaks loose as AGL get involved, and Falcons taking too much of the damage. GOW, the first to get bowed out, but BTR have been fighting WAG this entire time, finally swinging out, and Export finds one into Koja just before that they exit the lobby, even traps the next to fall. 3 squads immediately vaporize into dust, and a 4th one to join them as Limit is all by himself, and Team SR takes him out too, leaving our top 3.
My goodness. Okay, now this is a huge opportunity now for recovery. AGAL is not very close, but close enough to Falcons. If they can turn this into a massive game by wiping out all the players of Bigatron and Flash, this would be a huge one. But Flash and Bigatron doing Team AGL a big favor by shutting down each other. AGL just doesn't need to do anything except pick up the missing pieces here, as they just pick off 3 points off of both these squads.
Yep, and you can see that Team Flash wants to get involved. They're 3 members, but they know that BTR just went down, and one of the AGL members get picked off as well. Team SR, yes, he's fighting about Huang Am. Hey, that's 3 headshots in a row to finish this off with an easy booyah. You can see their faces. They knew they had this in the bag.
Second booyah of the day for this Vietnamese squad. Team Flash back with a bang. They obviously were a little upset that they did not qualify in the top 12 to play yesterday, but it doesn't matter. One day of waiting got them heated up just enough to make a phenomenal stand-up performance here happen for themselves. But of course, a great game 1 at Alpine, followed by 2 subpar matches. But this is their comeback one, and it is a great play at Solara, walking away with a booyah on top of everything else, and some solid points to add on to that.
Really, really solid points. These pickoffs here coming in from Huang Am, absolutely disgusting to open up so many angles of possibility for Flash. I mean, ABCD, now he doesn't necessarily have to be the one who finds these picks. If Huang Am can get him,
well, but of course, granted, we do have to give credit where credit is due. Falcons, AGL, Esports, they are performing unusually well today. RRQ just finding it really tough to catch up with them.
Yep, for now, we've already moved on from Solara. We move on to our next map, a good old classic, wide instance, and many, many teams and players have gotten their names etched in purgatory. As we see, game number 5, we fly over the map, and it looks like it's slightly skewed to the right-hand side, but not by much.
Not by much indeed. RRQ, early drop. Lumber Mill, Fire Brigade, Central. This whole island belongs to this Indonesian squad now, so looting galore for them. There's a high probability that Team Flash does rotate into Lumber Mill because Falcons seem to have taken this hot drop up against them, so this is going to be a little bit of a sticky situation for this Vietnamese team to deal with.
Let's see how it's going to play out, right? Because Flash, they're trying to slow down at least some of the members for coming in for the side of Team Falcons, right? And at least for Pina, he was hoping to find maybe an isolated fight, but unfortunately, he has to deal with all 3 members unless he's able to find this ABCD. Really good movement here, trying to make sure, breaking his ankles in terms of where he has to look at. Now, the rest of Flash is here to pick off Pina. Campsite is gonna quickly bring him back as the rest of the members from Falcons actually chasing BTR instead.
Yeah, great movement from ABCD overall, and Falcons, the rest of the squad members, as they try to get away from this situation, Bigatron seems to have pulled their attention here. Good time turner by On Fire. Has got the shotty in hand, just not the right gun in that fight. The Drogon outdoing him with the rate of fire. And Limit with the backup Yeah, well-deserved pull right back for them. But Flash is in the vicinity. Falcons in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, Falcons are getting pinched in by 2 teams, and on the opposite side, I'm pretty sure that Limit just saw Dudes. Definitely won't be missing that. 18 Deers in the car just ahead of Dudes on that highway, but the Riptide Rhythm's coming out, and Limit is the next to fall. All this happening. Pina, surprisingly, the one who first fell down, is able to get revived and sneak away to hopefully recover. A substitution actually being made here. We are having Waranya over Boone Jamie.
Flash up against Bigatron. RRQ finally showing up as well. Not to pick up the pieces, but to wreck the party here for both the squads. But not all of their players is in the compound just yet, so they just need to slow their pace down a tad bit here. Riptide Rhythm to break down those defenses. RRQ not pulling any stops whatsoever. Saw Mag 7 in hand, but just could not outdo the player. And Bison shuts him down with a headshot.
ABCD, oh, no way. No way. Juan just walks in. ABCD is like, nope, just dips out of there. They don't spot each other somehow. And even for BTR, he's like, I don't really want to get involved here. Let's just go our separate ways peacefully. And Xbox peeks his head out, takes out Noki in the middle of his rotation, knows that there's another Todak member just behind him, but will steal the loot and make his way forward.
Vanwo with the backup there. And Xbot with the initial tags, swooping in for the finisher. Falcons eliminated early, and this is what AGAL needs. Early elimination, and literally this is what we said. Falcons needs to be eliminated as team number 12. AGAL needs to go on and get the booyah to cut down this massive distance between the two squads. It's all in the hands of AGAL now.
Let's see how they play it out, right? Because even Flash, they're still not completely done for just yet. If they recover and they do well... Oh, my goodness, the headshots are coming in onto the kill feed already. We see that the rest of the members of VP going to get shot from the clothesline. And finally, we come back to EVOS Divine as they break through one of the members of AGAL. Baros gets the floor. Forge is dominated, but we look on the opposite side and now continue back the fight. Looks like Noki is going to be dropping down in with the help of Faiz. Thanks for the revive. Juan brings back Rin as well as Koja. Nobody eliminated just yet. And now the fight starts to pick up. Tikoi, he's looking for an initial pick-off here, especially against Virtus Pro, but he's using his movement to make sure he can buy a little bit of time, knowing that they're going to go for the peek. He goes for the re-peek as well. With the Trogon in hand still, he's got half a magazine left to go. Gets the reload down! Finds one into Exposy! Nolan takes out Cypher off camera, finds a second one with the help of the rest of his members, and more importantly with the Riptide Rhythms that are coming in to support Xplore, the next to fall. The rest of WAG look to collapse on the members of the back end. Diamond finds one, but it's too late. Secret and PSL1 already finding their shots to connect. Diamond has to reposition as the rest of the WAG members take out Nameless because Diamond's their only last hope. One more shot would have done it, but Diamond manages to turn the corner.
Oh, beautifully done by Diamond. Defensively well played, but unfortunately for him, Wanwo was just in the right flanking position. AC80 takes him out of the equation. Diamond down, Drake breaks down the glue wall with his vehicle as well as his Valiant dash gets strapped into the glue wall with Lahore. Not a problem for him at all. Aim God with the backup as well. Esports straight into the arms of EVOS. And EVOS are embracing them with those bullets.
Yep, it's a good thing that all these fights were happening out in the open. And now the Esports are gunned down by EVOS Divine. Thank you so much for initiating. Now we have all the information we need. Despite Kochio being contracted to die, and unfortunately, they just couldn't pick him off in time. EVOS now with 7 eliminations in the bag, a burning car, but they've also got another vehicle left by WAG anyways. They're looking to find their place in the ring, and this is only the very first one.
And just when AGL thought this was going to be a decently easy game, since Falcons got taken out early, it was EVOS that crushed their hopes instantaneously, forcing the team to scramble. Each and every single one of these players have been revived now, which has been a massive reset overall on their looting progress. So AGL on the back foot, they need to stay silent and hope and pray nobody finds them. Barros reviving Sci-Fi as I say that. In the meantime, RRQ managing to spot GOW out here at Lumbermill, but thankfully there is a vending machine there. So instant revive for the squad.
Yep, AGL trying to get... Oh, they're trying. Barros tries to go with the movement, but unfortunately a little too late. ABCD, again, making sure that they are keeping clear of these points. And Do has to try and beat ABCD by himself, which is very possible. Looks like ABCD wasn't able to get enough heals for himself, and with the healing UAV, the healing drone, at least he can keep Barros up and alive without him losing too much health despite getting chipped away by the blue. Now we see that Abe is turning the corner onto RIP, who takes him out with the help of Mal. 2 headshots puts him out of his misery, and they even have a delivery service to get to the next point. They have vehicles to play with, and Dian, he's just trying to hide. Maal gonna go for the loot here. Dian, his head pokes through the staircase, but he doesn't notice, but Doots does. Time Turner already down. Dian trying to take the space forward, but he's only got a 90, and it's not going to be enough, especially when Doots has the heavy artillery, but he's put down to 18 HP. RRQ come out of this alive.
Yeah, close enough, but fortunately he was outnumbered either way. Thoda, on the other hand, spotting a player, dropping back in on that revive, but just a tad bit unlucky as they try to engage them with those bullets. Zom on the revival for Wang. And Team Flash is back in it with a full squad as well.
They are, but they're hovering around the northern edge, and they make the call to say, hey, let's go deeper into the blue for now. We know that Todak already spotted us out. We don't want to go through that wall of resistance here. And some of the Flash members are looking for information across the board. Looks like Saifa finally spotted Huang Am, who's trying to check out the northeastern side of the map. VP is still lingering around here. Managed to get a full reset before Ring 2, and now Huang Am needs to win out this 1v1, but Saifa takes him out with ease and even calls in the rest of his team just in case he gets thirded. For the most part, it looks like they should be able to make it out of here, but with Team SR already marked to die, looks like they might have to take a longer path down towards the eastern side of the ring.
Yeah, it's a good recovery here for the squad of AGL, and it looks like they've gotten their hands on some decent loot as well. So, nothing much for the squad to worry about for the time being. Virtus Pro, on the other hand, looking for an extra point here off of Exposi. On the revival, brought that P90 in. Zom is gonna rock this with the Thompson, potentially. Gets the tags in, and unfortunately, Exposi will get traded out as the bullets hit each other at the very same time.
Yep, that's unfortunate. The worst part about that is just, you know, immense eye contact as you're already on your knees, right? It's just, you can't really do anything about it. Both sides are like, could we die faster? Is there like a end this button? But they don't, so they just have to wait, painfully wait until they get revived. In the meantime, though, at least WAG has found themselves a spot here by Brasilia. Now, the ring is hovering around Brasilia campsite at this point of time. We'll see whether or not it's going to pull either towards Brasilia or closer to campsite, ideally over Brasilia, for anybody who's on the western side. But here by the north side, Torak has already gotten into fights with AGAL on multiple occasions. Now it's an all-in. Oh my god! Team SR already taken out Faiz. 2 quick shots puts him out of his misery as well, and now turning this into a 3v4. Todak on the back foot as Saifa is now peppering them, cutting through the glue walls, and unfortunately, Traps can't do anything about that as one by one the Todak members get gunned down in the open field. VP and as well as GOW watch the entire thing go down, and they demand justice for Todak.
Yeah, Saifa having a field day with the cord in his hands. My goodness me. And Thoda stood no chance in that engagement at all. They're scrambling all around as usual. Just looking for their footing, trying to figure out exactly how to play the counter. But AGL took that good opportunity as they were thinking to swoop on in and end that fight between them. Saifa now has got yet another fight, this time against a slightly more put together squad in GOW. But in the grand scheme of things, they haven't really been collecting points well today. Even Thoda doing better than them.
Yeah, I mean, look at... honestly, I do miss the stat of how much damage they're doing to glue walls, because I think Saifa is just absolutely blowing through them at this point, just to apply pressure, right? Suppressing fire in the most effective sense of the word. As Saifa, he's up front, he's gone by the tree here. His angles towards Dian Demon, as well as RIP are very, very limited, and forcing them to use these stats, and more importantly, forcing them to use these glue walls is costing them a lot. Sypha, he's out of glue walls himself. He has to push backwards. His demon is right in front of Team SR. To take out Sypha finally has 2 more glue walls, despite majority of his being blown, as Du breaks that back line, opens it up with a Riptide Rhythm, doesn't find Rip, puts him down to 50% as the left side falls down. Du finds one into RIP already as Du takes out Demon. The flank is successful, and it's all thanks to Du.
And the final player for the side of GOW, Akoi, just not getting involved in the fight, and there's no great line of sight to find the connection. Had a good gun, the M82B, a little bit out of meta, but still could have done some massive damage onto AGAL, who were put on their knees moments ago by the rest of his team members. Perhaps a little bit of a miscommunication, and Akoi taken out of the equation as well. GOW goes down. How unfortunate. And AGAL, very impressive recovery.
Yep, and it looks like this is going to be a Brasilia final zone ring here. Plenty of compounds and concrete walls, brick walls even, to make sure that everybody has an angle, a place to kind of dominate, a line of sight that could be the key to their victory. Evos Divine gets spotted out with the help of the Dinoculars. Flash is also coming in from the south, but one smack in the middle. It's BTR Vitality as Mal finds the headshot already onto one. Evos Flash, they gotta be a little careful. They can't afford to lose any more members coming into this ring. There's nowhere to revive.
Yeah, not to Ma'al, man. He's got that Raphael. He's got the Maro. He is going to hit like a truck from that distance. Super dangerous in a situation like this. That player didn't stand a chance at all. Expired instantly the moment he got taken down. Buriram, though, 2 eliminations. Looking for the game of recovery, but pins it down. WAG asking big questions from the bottom stairs here. AGL up against yet another competitor, this time in the name of Virtus Pro. Left it only due. This was that game to catch up with Falcons, and all they do is cut that lead down by 11 points.
Now, which only leaves our one last competitor who could try and steal this away and maybe find another booyah, which is Flash. They to be admittedly fair, they are kind of on the back foot here. However, the crew's still trying to make sure that he controls this entirety of the stairs. That second floor is all BRUs, but they know that WAG at any point of time could look to rush up, and one already tries to make the attempt. Cruz stops him just in time. They don't find any space. It's now the time turner as well to try to stop the retaliatory fire. Jonah finds one as we see the rest of the members start blowing through. They're getting cut down, but now they have to go for the invasion themselves. They've committed it all into this. T-Coin as well as Vanvo trying their absolute best to stay alive at this point of time, and while this is all happening inside the house, the domestic abuse doesn't stop Mal, just trying to make sure that every single angle is known that RRQ has your number.
And Buriram out again. A premature end to the climb to, well, just basically trying to stay alive at this point of time. They can't even climb up and catch up with a team like Falcons as of this point of time. Falcons so close to the 100-point mark with 2 more games to go. And of course, an unfortunate falter in this game, which is going to keep them away from that 100-point mark and breaking or shattering some records here today. Great Riptide Rhythm response from Team Flash as WAG breaks down their defenses as well. Straight into the time turner, and T-Kui punishes the Zob. WAG, what a great aggressive push.
A very aggressive push, but it comes at a lot of resources. They managed to top back up with the help of the body bag, but at this point, there's not a lot of play space to really work with here. They're just utilizing their movements to try and dodge some of the shots, but Evos Divine already the 2 members down on their knees, and Flash unfortunately bowing out at 6, unless Ray can manage to land this shot. Unfortunately, he does, but wasn't the headshot that they were looking for. God is all by himself as BTR have dominated the northern side and are going to snowball it into RRQ. WAG still have 3 members. BTR the only one with... BTR and RRQ the only ones with full, healthy, living squads.
RRQ up against Bigatron, but Bigatron is actually going to back away from this fight. Looking at the circle, favoring them. They try to reposition, setting up those glue walls. Very well played, but no Riptide Rhythm, forcing them to be in a terrible situation just yet. It's just all of the shots out of the court. Abe just piling on the pressure from the back, forcing Bigatron straight into the arms of WAG.
Yep, and now we might see the ring around Rosies one more time. WAG as well as BTR. BTR been taking so much, but Dudes finds the initial and Mahal as well. That's 2 picks on towards BTR side. That should be a full initiation coming out from the side of RRQ as they are looking to pick up these eliminations as soon as possible. They finish them 2 off, and now all that's left is WAG. 2 members down. Oh boy, here comes the all-in. Is 18 Deer already finds one. RRQ clean up the rest of the lobby.
The first booyah for RRQ, and what we thought was an opportunity for AGAL to climb up and cut the distance between them and Falcons. That opportunity was taken by RRQ instead, and this is classic RRQ, staying silent, surviving all the way deep into that with those engagements. But of course, quite a bit of distance between themselves as well as Falcons to cut down here. But looking at the massive points picked up through those eliminations, I think they've done very well to jump up the leaderboard.
Yep, they're definitely going to make this last map very interesting, but we'll double confirm once we've tabulated all of the points of everybody else. Because again,
extra $250 US. Not only do you qualify to the grand finals, you also walk away from this lobby a little bit richer. 250 USD, solid. Get to buy some good dinner for the whole squad. But of course, as we kick our flight path off, this is going to be the final game of the day on our good old Bermuda. And this is just chaos that's about to ensue here. So many of these teams so close to qualifying, all super solid on this map. A few hot drops can really wreck the day. And Falcons versus RRQ, what a better start we can have here.
all right, they want to right off the rip, right? Want to make sure. We'll see who's gonna win that out, because again, I'm looking at everybody else. Like Flash, for an example, has always been like just a little bit closer than you would have liked, right? They're gonna be taken out on towards Clock Tower side, eventually making their way into Rimdown Village to join that fight to see how this is gonna play out. And immediately Keroro getting knocked down. The cord from Maal, the perfect weapon, especially for a situation like this. Unfortunately for Pina, with no gun, he goes down, and this might be an early bow out here for the Falcons unless they can turn this around. On fire, wins out his fight, but can he get the trade? No, he does not. Limit is all by himself. Very dangerous situation to be in, and worst yet, he's got the weaponry, he's got level 3 armor, he has a landmine as well, but is opting to run. He gets shot in the back by Maal, and that's Falcons bowing out at 12.
If you want something done right, you gotta get it done yourself. RRQ knew the biggest threat for them was Falcons, and they said, we are gonna sort this out, baby. And what better gun to pick up literally on a hot drop? The cord, which is pretty much in meta. You got to smash all those players back to back. A tad bit unfortunate Falcons in the overall grand scheme of things. After such a breakout run today, RRQ literally crushed them with that hot drop.
And now Falcons preying on their downfall, praying that Flash catches up, because at this point, RRQ, how many points do they need? They need 12 more points to even out against Falcons, 13 points to overtake them, which is very possible if they just get a couple more eliminations to survive until the very last ring. Either way, by the factory side, WAG facing off the members of Todak. Oh, Time Turner is already down, but it's not really going to do much, especially since Export is already so nearby. Winning out these early fights is great for WAG, but the factory is theirs.
Cruz. Yes. Not as sharp as Moshi, but not the weakest marksman out there. Sana taking a CQC. And Rip almost literally ripped him apart there. MP5 in the hands of Wasana. It's just not doing great at all in the current matter. My goodness, Wasana. As he tried to get up top. Cruz sprayed down by the end. And Moshi's just stepping away, saying, maybe this is not my time to shine just yet. As Wasana tries to get away from the sticky situation as well. Jonah looking for a better spot to back him up. But RIP literally tosses a nade and sends Wasana to his grave.
Oh my goodness, unfortunate indeed. Todak still taking the brunt of the damage and finally getting eliminated here. Tikwe making sure that he's not missing these shots. Angry and looking for revenge. Wait, hold on. Where did the members of Flash go? Flash as well as BTR in the middle of the fight, but we do see that one of the Flash members is off to the side. As we see that RRQ facing up against new competitors in BTR, holding the opposite end of the Rimnam village, right in smack in the middle of it, some may say, over this river. And I don't think RRQ was ready for this. I think they were hoping for Flash, but it looks like BTR pushed them out of the way. Oh, Juan goes down, and Kyong the next to fall as well. Taking out the competitors real fast here. RRQ with the help of the Accord, applying an insane amount of pressure. Rin runs into line of fire. And now Kyong is all by himself. A revive has been purchased. We're going to get one more. They got Rin just in time as Kyong goes down. Koja takes out Death, and now they are behind the thirders in the Flash.
I mean, goodness me. Immediately pulling out a hit list, spotting out Koja, and that extra information leading them directly to the player. But of course, thankfully, they had that one final second revival coming on through. But now yet another contender in the form of EWOS. This one's a little spicier fight for RRQ to deal with. They've got the loot on their side, though. They didn't really waste a lot of resources up against Bigatron because they used their compound very well. Beautiful play with the time turner. Aim God pulling up that blue wall just in the nick of time to avoid Duts and his nasty grenades.
Keeps an eye out for Russia. Quickly covers his back. I'm not sure if he's still exposed, and it looks like he still is. Unfortunately, Russia takes him out. Not good placement of the blue walls, thinking that he broke LOS. He did not. Kochil, still alive, manages to drop down the blue wall just in time here. With Abe in the help of the Accord, he is just cutting down on these blue walls real fast, but he doesn't have a lot of play area to begin with. Taking a quick look at the surroundings, trying to figure out what the battle lines are going to be. They know that Russia is off in an off angle on the vantage point on the height. Kuchil's head was sticking out, but he moves just in time. Maal did not line up the shot. Unfortunate indeed, as Ray is looking to back him up.
Oh, Maal would have been deadly in that situation. Almost had that lined up headshot. Didn't manage to get the click in the tick of time. Abe backing away. 18 Dia for the Punisher, but gets punished by Aim God Strogon instead. 2 players down. Revivals just not possible. Maal seeking another shot just to thin down the numbers of EWOS, who are not stopping. Instead, they're going in for the finisher.
They're trying their best here. Russia, whoa! Even with the mini Uzi, he's going to take on the sniper head to head. No problem. Switches over to the primary just to show him who's boss. Ends him with a quick bullet to the dome. And now BRU facing off against so many Vietnamese squads. Initially it was GOW, but it looks like PE Esports were the first ones to actually hit up this arsenal. And now BRU, they can't choke this fight. They've got 2 ways to play this. And unfortunately, the sniper for PE Esports is not going to be there in that time as they are blowing out the roof of the arsenal itself. The left side now being covered, but unfortunately for Nolan, he's going to be cut off from the rest of his teammates. He's down as the Cruise has already found the play.
Yeah, smooth play here from Buriram, going in here for the Arsenal play. Understanding that Esports probably had the better set of guns, but trusting their mechanical capability, and now they get to loot these players off instantaneously. AGAL though on the hot fly in with that jump pad. The new contenders are in a decent enough spot. They popped the coda, but the rest of the Buriram players were all crouching, so they disable that information being sent off. Wasana giving away just a tad bit of info there. GOW in shooting range as well as AGAL takes advantage.
Oh, Moshi makes a hard decision about what to do, but manages, gets him, blows his head off, and unfortunately for BRU, now caught between a rock and a hard place. The Cruise by himself, but Joanna manages to sneak back and be able to revive the rest of his teammates, forcing... Wait, hold on. VP facing off against BTR by the top side, by Bullseye even, and BTR ends up losing that. VP winning it out on the northern side, must make their way into the zone as we cut back to AGAL and GOW.
Yeah, Bigatron was one of those squads. If they had scored a massive game, they could have actually qualified to the grand finals. Unfortunate, a early elimination on them. But AGL still in the running. There was 3 points difference between them and RRQ. With their eliminations alone, they've managed now to step over them. But of course, RRQ did manage to farm quite a little bit earlier on as well. This has to be a fight that AGL must win. GOW poses a huge threat here for their qualifier to the grand finals.
Yep, and AGAL They're getting closer and closer to it. 4 elimination points already. And every single one is going to bring them closer. Takes out Rip. Perfect. That's another one in the bag. As we see that Waranya is trying his best to try to fend off the rest of the members here from the side of EVOS Divine. But unfortunately, there's just too much firepower and not enough boys shooting back. Nameless last to fall. But that's going to be VP out in 9th.
Yeah, this is the Esports World Cup champions that we know in EVOS. And they do manage to unlock the arsenal for themselves as well. Some upgrade of guns for the guys who are on fire this time around with the engagements. And they've also got a hit list laid out here for RRQ's Dudes. So they know exactly where he is on the map. The question is, do they want to get aggressive and put RRQ in a tough little spot? RRQ is at 91 points. They need 4 more points to match up and 6 points if they want to confidently overtake. But AJAL dangerously close to them.
It's very possible here. But they just need to make sure that they live. There's 2 routes that they could go for. Either they take early fights or they look to just play silently until they make it into the top 3. Either or is very viable, and either or will net you eliminations regardless. As we see the rest of the map, right? We see the Koshil as well as Russia on the outside in the blue, trying to look for resources to try and get the eventual revival before making their way up Katulistiwa and then down to Bimasakti Stripped. Joanna, same thing. He's looking for opportunities, but it looks like WAG is jumping right into AGAL as we speak, as RRQ are facing heavy resistance by Clock Tower against Esports.
And Buriram's rotating right behind AGAL. This might just be over for the squad who's looking to qualify for the grand finals here. RRQ up against Esports, and the shots have already ensued at Clock Tower. AGAL's just got to hunker down and hope and pray nothing happens, but they are losing player after player. The counter up against WAG is there. Cypher knocked down, but it's a 2v2, and Barros Wasana interferes.
Oh, he's let it
Yes, he does. PLS1 finds Barros.
A beautiful headshot to turn this around. PSL1 needs to get on out of there. He's the last one remaining as the members of BRU have been watching the fight this entire time. WAG bow out, and AGAL managed to walk away from the fight. They managed to do it. Laho is able to find at least a headshot on towards Dudes down here by our southern fight of the Clock Tower. And RRQ, they can't afford to lose members like this. They can't afford, especially when they are so close, 3 points away to even it up.
We usually see Vietnam accidentally helping their brothers, but this is one of those moments where Thailand pulls that off. Buriram helping AGAL survive in the pickle of a situation, and now RRQ and AGAL, they are all tied on the leaderboard. Both teams only have 3 more survivors, and Esports asking some big questions off of this Indonesian squad.
Oh no, it's too late! LBT finds 18 deer, leaving only Maal and as well as Abe left to try and pick up the pieces. Riptime Rhythm Abe finds an amazing opportunity, even the binoculars being used, but Abe unfortunately unable to capitalize on it. Nero still alive with the help of the electrotherapy from LBT. Maal, he's repositioning. He's trying to get some shots onto LBT to make it easier for Abe, but he finds it! Maal, with the help of Abe, take out another one, leaving Nolan and Nero left a 2v2. This is the closest we've seen of Maal once again, making God's work real. Nero all by himself. 3 members of RRQ, 2 members of PE.
Lahore with the backstab, looking for Abe. Maal circling around to support his brother Abe, looking for Nero. Lahore could just be the game changer here. Abe does not understand. He's in a lot of trouble out in the open. Inhaler tops his health right back up. And a good flank around the left-hand side. Instead, Lahore punishes. But the revival onto 18 DA is going to keep RRQ in, even though Maal gets knocked down.
Oh my goodness, it's too close for comfort. It's too close. We already see where the next ring is going to be, and it's hovering over Bima Sakti Strip, which is perfect for EVOS Divine, who had a late recovery and more importantly, a late rotation from the northwestern side. AGAL back in full fighting force now tries to make their way into the ring on the southeastern side. However, Team Flash is not going to let them go easy.
How is 18DA going to bring back his squad? He does not, as Ray puts the final nail on the coffin. It is now for AGAL to shine. They literally need 2 points. And Flash can ruin the party. EVOS can ruin the party here. AGL just needs eliminations at this point. Cypher goes down. Flash messing with their mojo right now. Team SR is really low.
Oh no, Death. He's able to take out Cypher, forcing out Duo out of position. He goes down to his knees. He just needs 2 points. The Zom takes him out. And now the Zom goes in for the rest. AGAL at 94 points. So close, yet so far. Down to the last member. Russia takes out Baras. And now that's a wipeout. Flash. They're done for. And the same goes for AGAL, leaving only PE, EVOS, and BRU in our top 3.
Bro, they are on a tie. We need our tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker is going to be the total number of booyahs. AGAL has no booyahs to their name. What an unfortunate end. So many teams falling, even though the condition of Falcons getting eliminated early came true. They could not get enough. Holy mama. And now 3 more teams fighting for some consolation highlights here. Rasia with the backstab gets a double snipe, going for the head of Jonah. Now Israel with the M590 circling around the left hand side. Aim God, it's a 2v1. Jonah goes down. Buriram gets toasted.
And that should wrap it up. EVOS eats up the rest of the lobby. 1 member left from PE Esports, Nero, who's been hiding this entire time. He needs to show himself. Unless he's able to clutch this out 1v4, we haven't seen that in a very long time from any competitor from across the world. Aim God finally spots him out, and now the kill squad is on the way. And there you have it. EVOS Divine finally getting the booyah they've been waiting for.
There's a consolation booyah for EVOS. I mean, they don't even walk away with the extra 250. That's for the team of the day. And the team of the day is the team that scored 1 booyah. And they got taken out so early in this match in an unbelievable Bermuda showdown. They had a 15-point lead on RRQ. And RRQ desperately tried to catch up. AGAL did better. Managed to go through all odds to grab those points to match up before they got done in by all squads. Team Flash with a little bit of assistance from this team. EVOS Divine.
Woo! EVOS Divine coming out on top. That late rotation from Bimasakti Strip Hill. It worked out. It worked out from Katolicea. Oh my god. I can't believe it panned out in this particular manner. You can't make this up.
You can't, bro. You can't. This is Free Fire at its best. And I was wondering, when are we going to see some of these tiebreakers, man? And we get it right here on day 2 of our week 3, day 2 of our phase 2, where Falcons now qualifies. And this technically means 2 Thai teams have found their qualifier out of 5. Are we going to just see back-to-back Thai squads fighting these qualifiers? I will not be surprised at all. I mean, yesterday was a true shocker, but today was just pure drama, and you just gotta love it, Gideon.
I mean, I didn't expect it to pan out the way that it did. The way that it shaped out seemed very obvious, but right at the end is when you never really know. You never really know with Free Fire, man. Bermuda, what a place to kind of end today off of, to set up the rest, to set it up for everybody else. Because now, if you're not like annoyed that you haven't qualified for the grand finals, I think a day like this could really set you over the edge.
I mean, AGAL, they've been holding back, and you know, group stage they performed decently well. Today was their day. You know, breakout run. Dew was performing. Cypher was getting those frags. Everybody stepping up on the side of AGAL. And they came so close, literally on the exact same 95 points. This was a breakout run, a breakout performance by AGAL. And Falcons just had to ruin it. And they were literally the team that got taken out in the 12th spot. How insane is that? To be the first team to get eliminated and not need to do anything because you've already put in enough effort throughout the whole day, man. I mean, Falcons just a class, a cut above.
They really are. I'm sure in the live studio they probably as soon as they got eliminated, put down their phones and looked at everybody else who was like jazz hands, like, oh, are we gonna surpass? Are you gonna catch up with us or not? We don't know. But look at these highlights, man. Because again, we thought that maybe the early game was gonna calm down for a little bit, but apparently not, right? Especially by Rim Nam Village. This was just a chain of events which EVOS Divine at the very end were the victors of.
Yeah, and RRQ, they just kept getting dunked on. At least some teams tried, but it was EVOS that succeeded to take those final few shots up against RRQ. And then later on, up against Virtus Pro, that was just a no fight at all, right? EVOS Divine was just totally overpowering them in that engagement. WAG up against AGAL. You know, you expect them to fall time and time again, but AGL was just that cockroach that just did not want to get snuffed out. They just kept surviving over and over again. But look at this performance. Ray as the Russia, 9 eliminations, 10 knockdowns, 4,466 on the damage, rocking the Valiant Dash on the Oscar, has the Ford, has the Shani, and rocking the Nikita as well, just for the extra reload speed on the M590. The Shani hits that recycle gear, Ford with the extra bit of HP. I've seen this active-passive skill combination, but I've never seen anyone rock stats like this together with this combo.
I can totally agree with that, right? But again, it's a combination that he wants to get in the face of people, and he really got into the faces of a lot of people based on his stats alone. But let's look at the rest of his team, right? Because based on it, it looks like Ratio was doing pretty well. It's just AimGod and Cochilo was like, you kids have fun, man. We'll just chill for a second.
And what a day of drama that we literally just did not highlight this phenomenal run by EVOS, because they waited the whole game to wake up, and this game, the game where they woke up, it basically meant nothing, right? It's inconsequential. They're just showing everyone that, hey guys, chill, you're still around, we can play, we can find the frags, and Rasia rocked it. Ray absolutely smashed it. Overall, it was a phenomenal game from EVOS, showing that they're still in the run and they can make a good performance count later on at the grand finals if they want to. And that's the key word, if, right?
It's all about playmakers, right? If you're able to make that one play to turn things around and has the impact that we're looking for, the meta will provide and will reward you. It's just sad to see that EVOS, it took them this long to get to this point, right? I think this is one of the few times where their early game actually went decently well, being the victors at the very end of the domino effect rather than being in the middle or the one who started it.
AGL doing what was needed. 18 points was needed to catch up. They did it, and they needed one more. And of all teams, the team that scored the double booyah, Team Flash. With the double booyah, they still placed 6th overall because they just couldn't climb up the leaderboard all that too much, but they just managed to play spoilers for AGAL. Of course, EVOS kind of interfered a little bit as well. RRQ almost didn't do enough, but they had a tough fight, man. I mean, they went in for a hot drop, and then they just kept getting pummeled after, team after team just kept fighting them, and unfortunately it was their Indonesian brothers that were coming in for those fights, with EVOS being the final victor. But look at this beauty. Just with the tiebreaker on the Booyah, Falcons will be team number 2 to join Pharaoh in the grand finals.
Dude, RRQ could have taken that spot. It could have been a 3-way tiebreaker, and there's honestly a good argument that they would have won it out as well because of their limbs. That's so frustrating for both AGAL and as well as RRQ, but despite that performance, Falcons put in too much effort to be denied an opportunity to go to the grand finals, and EVOS, despite having a pretty abysmal day, a couple of hot games, and a good number of eliminations, put them at the end of today at 4th.
RRQ could have made us go to the 3rd condition, all right? Where we look at the eliminations to call who wins this tiebreaker, the placement of the final match, because even on the eliminations, we're so close between Falcons as well as RRQ. This was an insane match. This was an insane day. And this is exactly what the current format here at FFWS SEA gives us. Just pure drama day after day. You couldn't ask for anything better. It was so exciting from the start all the way down to this game number 6, Gideon.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, but Free Fire's been listening to their community, right? There are no days where it doesn't feel like there isn't something to play for. There's a lot of weight coming into each of these days, and it really makes this league that much more interesting to watch compared to our competitors. Even so, we've seen everything kind of pan out here. I'm very excited to see some of these other teams who have been denied that opportunity, like Flash for an example. They're still finding booyahs here, even though this is the first day of which they got to play in Phase 2.
RRQ, RRQ is the only one that's like, okay, bro, we know AGL almost made it, we know Falcons made it, but we almost made it too. 94 points, and these boys, they were hustling, right? They had the consistency and they had the fight. They had the vigor to go through battle after battle on Rimnam Village, and first off, winning it out against the Falcons, that was the winning condition. Take Falcons out of the equation, and they almost helped AGAL by taking Falcons out and they themselves being dunked on by EVOS. But this is the beauty once again of what the current format offers us, and we will just not have it any other way. We've got an interview on standby, and we also have that interesting elephant dance. I'm still curious, what is this elephant dance?
Well, it could be a trend, it could be something that we've never heard for, it could be a Southeast Asian special. It's a little tough to say which one it could possibly be. I just want to see how that they manufacture the loser headbands. But hey, once again, thank you so much to everybody who's been watching now. Please enjoy the rest of the show. It's going to be enough of AJ and as well as me, Gideon Q. It's interview time. Let's see the headbands.
Hello survivors, welcome to the interview section from Thailand Broadcast, and here we are with the AGAL and this is Team SR. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
So for All Gamers Global, they got a second place. It's such a close game for them because all of the point elimination and place point and all the total is 95. Like first place and the second place is the same. So let's ask the first question. Last game, what happened in there? Because you need just one elimination to get the first place of the standing. ตอนนั้นเราเกิดอะไรขึ้นบ้างคะในเกมสุดท้ายเพราะว่าเราขาดอีกแค่1อีลิมเท่านั้นในการเข้าสู่รอบต่อไป
ก็ตอนแรกก็ไฟกับอีกตีหนึ่งครับแต่ว่าดิวโดนอีกตีหนึ่งเข้าหลังครับก็เลยเสียใช้เวลารีกันนานครับ
That time we already faced with